target was Leonardo da Vinci Airport near Rome. Once there, and everyone was collected, it was off to the Eternal City. Part of our international education on the way to Rome was to find out that Germany is the land of giant butter and small jelly. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for landing. We are nearing Rome. Some of the fearsome strangers you'll notice in the next few photos turned out to be rather pleasant friends as the days went by. The airport agent finally rounded us up and headed us for a bus so that we could go and meet the fabulous Mick. Mick was waiting at the hotel with our packets and arranged for a later meeting and allowed us to go to our rooms. He didn't know that some of us, at least, were absolute zombies and would die as soon as we got to the room. The first of Mick's signs was already up on the bulletin board. They were simple enough. Up in the wee hours, bags out, breakfast, sunrise will come in a few hours, don't worry. Mick had a short meeting out by the pool to let everybody know what would be coming in the days ahead. We then went back to the rooms for a short while before heading out that night to have a very fancy entertainment and dinner. Part of the entertainment was to get to study some active digs for ancient Roman or Etruscan ruins that were literally under and beside the restaurant we were eating in. As always, Nick was the perfect history teacher. No matter where we went, what we saw, he was right there to explain it all to us.
get started with the others on the rise, no doubt. So, welcome to Rome and welcome to your Insight Tour, the Italian highlights. So my name is Mick and I'm going to be your tour director for the next 13 days. So you can get to know all about me and what I'm going to do for you.
Into the afterlife, because the afterlife was where it all happened. You may have lived, but you were living for the gods, and in the afterlife you could meet the gods, eat with the gods, and feasting was important in the afterlife. So when you were buried, you went buried with various instruments that you might need in the afterlife. So men took overbuilding and falling down and rebuilding and this and that, completely disappeared. So it wasn't until they started to work on the restaurant that they found this. And it had been long since disappeared. So they found it.
How cool is
during
that?
the barbarian invasions and so on, lots of things were robbed from sites. Inside you can tell that the family had a reasonable amount of money because it's quite an ornate mosaic floor for that particular time. You can see the simplicity of it all in those days with the birds there, little birds.
Today we're off to Venice. Mick explained much on the way about the Etruscan hill towns built right up on tops of hills. Today was our introduction to the Auto Grill. It's sort of an Italian fast food, slow food concept. These peaceful people survived the crush into the bathrooms. Italians like their salami, no doubt about that. Look at these fearless seafarers. In Venice, all services are by boat. That includes moving. Here we have a happy couple from Maryland. Our guide told about her days as a child in Venice. Yes, the stories about pigeons in St. Mark's, every one of them is true. Notice it is not forbidden to leave your money in Venice. They like it. We arrived by gondola, but we left by motor launch.
If we get there in time this afternoon, nobody around. Segundo. Say. Okay, Alan, Paddy, Risha, Marsha, Lynn, and Lynn.
This way,
This way. Just fire, mate. Hey. Right, Jenny, Rod, Patricia, Bill,
That's all right.
we become a tourist icon. That's what I had at that first stop we made this morning. It was. That, when you see the powder drop in hot water, you know you're not getting coffee, not real coffee.
It's not bad. I thought it'd be really warm, but it's not.
Do you have the Carrabba's restaurants where you live? They're Italian restaurants at Outback Steakhouse.
Cosa posso fare? Che ti aspettiamo tutti. Però no, quello che mi aspetti. Aspettiamo tutti non mi calmati di me.
Yeah, sailing with the big boys. Hi. That was me singing.
See, in this tour, you really are
Didn't
practicing Venetian life. Because in Venice we do everything, either on foot or by boat. So, gondola tour, rowing boat tour, walking tour, and then islands, separated by 150 natural canals and connected by 400 bridges with steps. Therefore, in Venice, we do everything either on foot or by boat. See, but why have they built such a town? Because in the 5th, 6th, and 7th century, barbarians came down from the north of Europe, Belgium. But underneath some in which they have cursed millions and millions of wooden around, bricks everywhere. You see, bricks are the core of our architecture. When you see marble or
I don't want to go in front all the
They sell feed over there for it if you want to do it.
You know I do.
Train station. Just past the church train station.
So Rick, they have a large festival here. Not the
Mass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, there's one in Venice.
In Venice, but in Italy in general, is it?
In general, most towns that have one Protestant church, if it's a big city, there has to be a big city. In the north, there's a few more Protestant churches because they were some under other influences.
I certainly don't.
What?
I certainly don't.
Nick, what are the pink alligators about?
It's advertising the Modern Art Museum.
Did you
I'd ever soon I did the person that one does.
After Venice? Do you have kids, Mick? Tour director. Yeah, don't forget it.
Here's the view. The first bridge in 70 years to go over the canal.
Night in a 16th century Italian villa that had door keys that weighed about as much as a brick. There was enough time for a few early morning photos in the garden, formal gardens, and then it was all for another day of sightseeing in Venice.
Marco Polo was the one responsible for bringing syphilis into Europe. He picked it up overseas. So that was why they had a quarantine island. Out on the left is one of the only green islands in the centre of Venice. This is the island of St. Helena. And it's named after
If you're a highway engineer, you must have heard of it.
They built that bridge across the Mississippi up in Minnesota.
No, they wait for 1 second. Oh no, not that one. The one that fell down though.
How would you like to have to put 100 bags in a 95 bag space each day? The ancient ruins in Verona are visible through giant holes in the street that are set up just for the spectators. This is the entrance to the courtyard for the Romeo and Juliet balcony. Mick fanned us out from the small town center and told us what time to be back to meet at the statue. Many of us headed immediately for the stadium, or their arena, which is supposedly even better than the one in Rome. Young lovers from around the world write their comments on the walls surrounding Juliet's balcony. They also write on the signs that say, "Don't write here." When we left Verona, Mick snuck us past the Swiss border guards into the little town of Lugano. The Swiss don't allow pigeons, they send them all to Venice.
River that runs down. So this was one of the Roman city gates here, and the Roman walls ran along this way, and then they had a bridge over the river. Now it was a heavily fortified city because of its position.
Credit card or what?
You have to go inside.
No, I just want to be safe.
Or try another bank.
During the night, Mick snuck us across the Swiss border again and got us to Lake Maggiore. Paulette and I visited a European cemetery while the other members either went on a cruise or fanned out across the town. Yes, it is different in Italy. This is the hotel we stayed at Lake Maggiore. When word got out that someone had found a laundromat, we all charged down there with hope somebody could figure out how to work the machines. At dinner, Ray and Laura brought out their wedding pictures, so we decided to put a couple in this little travelogue. We all wanted to see Pisa and the Field of Dreams, or was that Field of Miracles? Most of us thought that this sign right here is a miracle. There's so few of them in Italy. Vendors were everywhere at Pisa. Vendors includes tram drivers who sell their CDs when they sing. Yes, the tower really does lean. It leans a lot. As we were leaving, we heard a terrible crash behind us, but Mick told us to keep moving to catch the little tram cars. He said if anything had happened, we'd read about it in the paper tomorrow. Antonio was waiting to carry us to the Hotel Astoria.
Of the Catholic Church, and that protest then evolved into a side of religion called Protestantism, and it then started quite a serious war throughout Europe, more in the north of Europe, but it affected Italy. So therefore, as I mentioned in Venice, we then had a counter-reformation, and in the mid-1500s we even had a little Inquisition here in Italy, where if you were not Catholic or following some other faith, you were either 1063, and then of course the Leaning Tower in 1100.
People are up on it. Can you go?
So if you're going to go into the cathedral, alright, you need to go down here to the right hand side where there's a big red banner on the side of the building. You go in there and you can buy a ticket in there to go into the cathedral if you like to go inside. Also the baptistry, you need to buy a ticket from there as well. You probably won't have time to do both, so choose one or the other.
What do you think of this place?
What's that?
What do you think of this place?
You're having a nice meal tonight. I'm very jealous.
Day 8 of our adventure, and we're off to Florence, or Forenzia as they say. The Astoria was another one of those places with a 2-pound pocket key. The weather had changed to cool and slightly rainy for us for our day in Florence. Michelangelo's stonework is powerful indeed. Some vendors use the street surface as their sales room. We thought Florence was crowded, but then later we got to Rome. Florence is simply full of photo ops. Paulette and I made back-home friends in a small cafe. This man sees something funny. I hope it's not that I'm holding my camera backwards.
League, ranging from Vey down in the south, just 11 miles outside of Rome, the biggest of the cities, to Sutri, to Vetalonia, to Perugia, which we're about to pass, Chiusi and Fiesole, just above Florence. Now these were very powerful little cities, but they were not unified amongst themselves. So there was but surely he started to get a following. Soon after that, he travelled to Rome and met with the Pope, and this is one of the miracles of St. Francis, that pretty much normally it would take a long time to have an order recognised, but St. Francis went down to Rome, saw the Pope, and the Pope had a vision of St. Francis. that's illegal. Because you're not allowed to have a child on the scooter unless they're under 12, unless they're over 12 years old.
I just wanted fruit and stuff. So what is all these clothes? What is all these extras?
Target.
Oh yeah.
It is. And this isn't even a tour to the Amalfi Coast. This is just getting to Sorrento. I know. I'm so excited.
It's almost different candies.
Do you want more?
I don't know.
What is it, soccer?
Oh, that. We loaded up and headed for Pompeii. This was to be a long, hard, but wonderful day. Mick had given us certain warnings about Naples, and they proved to be exactly on the mark. The morning cool was still with us when we got to Pompeii. Yes, Pompeii is an amazing place. Notice the ruts from the chariots. Notice the era. The 2,000-year-old water pipes are still in place. Can you imagine weary Pompeii shoppers taking a break some 2,000 years ago? Shoppers love to compare their purchases.
Because they needed the small marinas for trading. And Pompeii was a bit just top of this ancient hill, 120 feet above the sea level, dominating this beautiful belt, close to the ocean. Originally, Pompeii was just a small farming place. In fact, the foyer of the theaters in the year 63 after Christ, during the reconstruction, became the Gladiators School of Pompeii.
The Apennines, running all the way down through the centre. So you can see there's pretty much one area to travel through here on the western side of the Apennines. And it's been that way for about 2,800 years. This is the major trade route, the major travel route through the Etruscan times, the indigenous people, the Greeks, the Romans, the Lombards, the Normans, the Byzantines, all of those people all travelled through here because this was the easiest way to travel. Now right back, remember I mentioned a little town when we were driving down through Umbria, little town of Norcia, those famous.
Although we were on a fun trip, we took a little time out to revisit the carnage that struck Italy during World War II. Every country that our holiday travelers were from was represented at the cemetery. After a quiet time, we got back on the bus and headed on into Rome. Our final day of touring had arrived. It was time to tour Rome, the Eternal City. Mick got us to the Vatican early, but it evidently wasn't early enough, judging by the lines. The crowd was simply humongous. Suddenly, we had tickets and we were in. Our Vatican City guide was perhaps the most animated we had seen. We saw treasures without end. The paintings were not just on the walls, they were on the ceilings as well. We got a surprise. A Vatican wedding spilled out where we were. The immense plaza left us all spellbound. When we left the Vatican, it was off for a walking tour of ancient Rome. A pickpocket ran through our crowd, and Mark reached out and grabbed him and set him down. Here he is waiting for the police to come. Mark didn't want his knife or gun. Mick gave us a few hours to eat and shop and told us to meet him at the Spanish Steps, which are certainly worth seeing all on their own. Here is a dog that's been trained to beg. Everyone was tired at this point, headed to head back to the hotel.
Dying so easy that sometimes the nervous breath.
Tell me your name, where you're from?
Marcia.
From?
Well, Ontario, Canada.
And?
Kay Smith from Melbourne, Australia.
Okay.
Linda Delaney from Mississauga, Ontario, Canada.
Barbara Kelly from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, Canada.
Sydney, that's in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, Costa Rica.
And you are?
Linda.
From
Ottawa.
Wonderful.
That's in Jamaica. And that's in Jamaica.
My name is Patrick Sahoyas. This is my wife Lynn, and I'm from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada.
PSIHOGIOS. If you ever come to the zoo, you are more than welcome to stay in our home.
Is that everybody?
You are the best. We
Okay.
love you. Thank you.
She's
Lynn.
talking to all the inside, I guess.
Not yet. I'll do it with Sandra. We owe you a lot of water.
Where are you from? Windsor?
I'm from Windsor, and my name is Donna DiPietro. I'm staying another 10 days, and anytime you're coming to Canada, come and see me at Casino Windsor or my home. You're welcome to stay anytime. Thanks for the water, Rex.
And you are?
My name is Paulette Harrell, and I'm looking for a husband.
Boyfriend.
What kind?
Boyfriend.
I want a good one this time.
Joan Vandenberg from Manatic in Ottawa.
Hi, Rick. My name is Hans Vandenberg, and I'm from Manatic, Ontario, Canada.
That's good.
G, and this is
Rika.
Rao from Hollister, California. We enjoyed this trip very much with all of you guys, and especially today with all this beautiful adventures happening to us. This is a trip I wouldn't miss for anything in the world.
Tell me who you are and where you're from.
I'm Ken Rolog. I'm from Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada.
Already got you, didn't I?
This lovely.
No, you didn't.
Oh, I didn't?
This lovely wife next to him is Amy.
Is that Amy? Did I get you, Amy? No. This Amy?
I'm not Amy. I'm Risha.
Risha from?
I'm Risha from Cambridge, Ontario.
You're going to have to because they weren't here.
Oh, they missed it.
PJ loaned me a photo to work with.
Okay. But don't leave because we have to check it till it's... Okay. But don't leave because we have to check it till it's... Hold on. Is this everybody? Did you love Simone? Are you guys kidding me? Come on! Is he coming in? Come on! Oh! Yes, I'm going to make you mad. Over here, Joanne.
You can't keep the poor lady here all.
I think it's over to this guy, eh? There. Okay.
Hurry.
Pat, make sure you're not behind somebody.
Get in.
Do another one for good luck.
Smile.
Another one. Wait, just don't let him check it. Don't move. Let him check it. He's in charge. This man is now in charge. Okay. I didn't like the way the wife did it. Okay. Cheers.
Ai no, speriamo che non uscita. Secondo me ne esci.
Wait till he looks at it first.
Secondo me non è uscito, perché ci manca il flare. No, già mi miccio, falli togliere.